Now, Russia appears to be struggling to repel Ukraine's incursion into the Kursk region. Reports suggest that Ukraine's forces are operating more than 6 miles inside Russia. That's the deepest cross border advance since Moscow launched its full scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. We can speak now to Kateryna Malofieieva, who is a journalist in Kyiv. Morning, Kateryna.
Good morning.
First of all, what do we know about this move by Ukrainian forces to go inside Russia? Do we know how many forces are there? Do we know what the tactics are?
That's a very good question. And I just wanted to correct you that this is the first that Kyiv launched this surprise operation on the Russian soil. Not only since the Russian President Vladimir Putin launched his full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, but also since Kremlin occupied Donetsk region in 2014 and annexed Crimea. So this is the first presence of Ukrainian forces, apart from the assaults that were happening in the past year when Ukraine launched a few assaults to Kursk region. What do we know? As of yesterday evening, we've already seen the video published by one of the Ukrainian brigades, 61st Brigade. The video next to the administrative building of the gas transit point of gas group Gazprom. The video with Ukrainian flags, they were standing there. So this is a part of the town Suja. So apparently Ukraine is controlling one part of this town. Russian troops are still controlling another part of this town. At the same time, according to some experts, this town doesn't represent really a big significance for Ukraine because it's based in the valley. So far, we know that at least 4 Ukrainian brigades are on the territory of Russian Federation in Kursk region. They've also broke through the border in a different direction, not only next to Suja, but also in different directions. So we know that it is like roughly 35 kilometers in depth of the Russian territory.
And so you say that, Russia was taken by surprise. What has the Russian response been?
I'm aware that Russia launched the counter-terrorist operation in 3 regions. They evacuated people. Similar situation in Sumy region. So Ukrainian government announced the evacuation of 20,000 people soon. You probably, at the same time, Ukraine managed to launch yesterday, according to the information from the state military intelligence, the troops took control of a part of the Kinbun Spit. This is part of occupied Kherson region that is in the Black Sea and very close to Crimea. According to the analysts and some governmental officials, of course, it's this information is not publicly available, but the analysts are saying that this surprise assault operation was intended specifically to divert Russian troops from the eastern Ukraine, where they managed to gain some territory and came close to the very important highway Pokrovsk-Kastelinivka and are in the vicinity of the city of Peretsk. So this is also quite important move of Ukrainian forces, of Ukrainian, specifically to gain some leverage on the potential future negotiations with Russia.
So that's really interesting, Kateryna. So you're saying that, and I have seen this reported, that actually this could be a tactic designed to draw Russian resources away from other parts, so that there can maybe be action elsewhere. Is this seen as potentially a strategy going forward, that there could be other incursions into Russia by other Ukrainian troops?
It's hard to tell, but for example, this is not the first raid into the Russian territory in that particular border. Yeah, so we've seen since March 2023, we've seen several attempts of the Ukrainian forces to break through, and they've been in small towns, Tyotkina and others. So it's already showed a few times the weakness of the Russian forces. So it's surprisingly that they haven't strengthened up the that part of the border. So it's kind of it's at least as far as I remember, like the third attempt to get into the Russian territory. So it shows also the weakness of the Russian authorities, that they cannot protect their own territory. So I'm not sure about future potential developments, but at least in that area, second breakthrough already happened.
And it's interesting you talk about Russian forces not being able to protect their own territory. I just wonder how much of that links into morale within Russian troops and indeed Ukrainian troops. You know, this is a war that has been going on for a long time, and a war that recently there hasn't been huge movement, but there doesn't appear to be any sense of any kind of deal to be done or any negotiations to be done. Do we have a sense of morale on either side?
Um, it's also a good question. I've seen yesterday some video circulating on public on different social media, that the Russian population from the territory of from this like Kursk region and those settlements that were evacuated from those settlements, 11 settlements that Ukraine is now taking control of or fighting for. They were accusing Russian army on bombing their villages, and because this is one of the tactics of the Russian Federation to eliminate and flatten to earth the settlements, as they did in Mariupol, Avdiivka, and many other cities. And I've seen that Wagner, PMC Wagner, sort of expressed interest in helping Russian forces, official, regular Russian army to join. And it of course shows again the weakness of the Russian forces, that even PMC Wagner shows like expressed interest to help them. For Ukrainian forces, of course it's a boost of the morale, because it's kind of takes some lift some weight from this from the parts of Donetsk region that that for the past month or two have been really in a difficult situation. I'm talking about Toretsk and Chasiv Yar. For Ukrainian forces, this is a boost of morale, and but again, it's probably one of the you know that the winter is coming, so in a few months the situation will change. So Ukraine is trying to gain momentum in the fight.
While the weather is still good. Thank you, Kateryna. That's Kateryna Malofieieva, who is a journalist in Kyiv. So I mean, it's really interesting how this, this new strategy. Apparently, the West was aware of this. Whether it gave a wink and a nod or just was aware and didn't say anything, but that Ukraine's forces now operating more than 6 miles inside Russia. And as Kateryna said there, the idea of this being that actually it could be a tactic designed to draw Russian troops from other areas in Ukraine, enabling Ukrainian forces potentially to move in on those areas. But, as Kateryna says, and, it's just a sad indictment of how long this war has been going on. It is the summer, the weather is quite good now, but as the winter comes, it becomes a lot more difficult to make movement forward.